Well, hello there, children. It's Grandpa Joe. And in this video, we're going to talk about love and relationships. Hadn't had much success in that area myself, but I have learned some lessons that I would like to share with you guys. Okay? Our current culture in the West, as far as relationship goes, I think is all out of whack. I think we got the cart before the horse. We're proceeding in a bad way, and it's pretty evident from the divorce rate in the West that we don't know what the hell we're doing. So, if you look around, what are the most long-lasting marriages? You would, in as culture-wise, it would appear that the Asian community and the Indian community have the longest lasting marriages. That's the way it appears. And something that they both have in common is that, for the most part, the parents decide who the children are going to marry. So, in the West, that sounds like a terrible idea. All my parents, controlling me and, forcing me into a marriage with someone that I don't have any feelings for and yada, 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 right? So we look at that and say, oh, that's horrible. There's no way. Well, here's the thing. As I've told my children, your heart lies to you. It's the biggest liar that there is. It will tell you that you're in love, and it will tell you that everything's going great in your relationship when everything's a gigantic catastrophe. You cannot trust your heart, your emotions, your feelings, because they will lie to you. Okay? You have to trust the facts. All right? So, here's what I recommend. Okay, now I'm not saying that the parents should decide who you marry, but here's what I would recommend. Currently, here in the West, people date for a while, maybe even move in and live with each other for a while before they meet each other's parents. To me, that is insane. Okay? That's the worst thing you can do. So basically, you have this relationship, you've become attached to this person before you meet their family, the people, if it's a long-term relationship, people that you're going to have to contend with and live with for the rest of your marriage. And you've become attached to this person without seeing that part of who they are. And here's the thing, couples lie to each other. They pretend to be someone else, especially women. Okay? Sorry, girls, but women lie about who they are until the ring slides on their finger. Okay? It's a completely different relationship from a dating and a fiancé level to marriage. It completely changes as soon as those vows are over. That woman is a completely different person than she was just a few minutes before. Because now her expectations have completely changed. So, going back to what I was talking about, not meeting the parents, I think that's one of the first things you should do. You should meet whoever you're interested in. You should meet their parents and their family as soon as possible. I mean, first or second date, I would say, hey, let's meet the fam. Let's see what I'm getting into before I get too attached. Before I develop the bond with this person, let me see what I'm getting into. So that you don't step into a relationship and then, oh my God, her family's a nightmare. And then they end up sponging and living off of you and just, damaging your relationship because these people are a bunch of jerks. And for sure, that happens. Happened to me. Okay. After I got married, her entire family was against me, basically hated me, and was doing everything they could to destroy our marriage. And they mooched off of me. They borrowed money off of me. They basically bankrupted me. And like I said, moved in, and which that creates friction in the home. I had siblings living here. I had the whole dang family living here in my house at one time or another, for not for a week, but for months at a time, sometimes years. So you need to know who these people are so that you don't get too attached. So you can say, oh, I don't know if I'm getting, this is not a good thing here. Maybe I should cut this relationship off because I don't want to deal with those people. Regardless of how great she is or he is, it's not worth, a long-term relationship with this person because this family is going to tear them apart. And you also need to know how your parents are going to react to the person that you're interested in. They may have some insight that you don't. Love will put up a veil over your eyes, and you can't see what's right in front of you. And so you need someone that will tell you the truth about who you're interested in. Usually your friends won't do that. Okay? But your mother, your father, and your sisters and brothers, they will. They'll tell you right away, hey, that guy's an asshole, or that bitch is crazy. You need to stay away from him. You need to end this relationship. And that's why people don't do that. Because they say, oh, well, my parents, my family won't treat him bad and they'll break us up. Good. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's good. Okay? So, and it's of course it's important to have someone that you're attracted to physically. Okay, that's good. But that shouldn't be the number one factor when you're thinking about a lifetime partner. The problem is that super attractive people have more options, okay? And if things get a little bit rocky in a relationship, they can just jump ship and hook up with somebody else immediately because that's the way that they've lived their life. They just jumping from relationship to relationship because they've got the physical attractiveness that will, open doors for them. So not always the best thing to have someone who's really good looking. You need somebody who's going to be loyal, okay? Someone who's not going to cheat on you, someone who truly cares for you. And that leads me to the next thing. Knowing when you're in love, okay? Like I said, your heart will lie to you. It will blind you to what's right in front of you. So how do you know that someone loves you? And it's difficult to know for sure, but it comes down to what the definition of love is. Love is not physical attraction to someone, okay? Love is not a strong connection to someone, okay? That's not love. In most cases, that's lust, okay? That's just pure physical attraction, chemistry, and hormones, okay? And a lot of people fall into that trap that they're, connected by this physical attraction, and that overwhelms everything else, and then they get involved in a relationship that ends up to be, toxic or, puts you at a disadvantage in some other way. So how do you know if someone loves you? Well, the answer is they need to be willing to sacrifice for you. That's what love is. Love is sacrifice. If you're willing to sacrifice your own wants, needs, and desires for someone else, that's a good sign that you're falling in love with them. And if they are willing to do the same in return, chances are they're falling in love with you as well. That's the best way to know. If someone is a taker, right? So you ask them to do something for you or whatever, and the person, well, I don't know, I really don't like that. I don't really want to go there. I don't like that restaurant, or I don't want to go. I don't really like that those people. I know they're your friends, but I really don't get along with them too well, and so I don't want to go. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. So it's all about themselves. They're interested in making themselves happy, and they think that you should, be looking out to make them happy. That's what, as a boyfriend or girlfriend, a person that thinks that you're supposed to do everything to make them happy, and they get upset if you don't do whatever it is they want you to do, or, that sort of thing, then that person is not in love with you, never will be in love with you. They are in love with themselves, which is another problem with the modern culture, is this emphasis on self-love. Oh, you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. You need to work on yourself first. Get everything that you want and need and first before you connect with someone else. If you need to know what you like, what you need in a relationship, and then demand it of this other person. It basically is the modern way of doing things. Oh, here are all my conditions for a relationship. Now let me throw them off on this other person and see if they're willing to accept them. And then vice versa. And no wonder relationships don't work out, because everybody's just thinking of themselves. Oh, I was unhappy for about 30 seconds. So that's a signal to me that this person is not right for me, because I was unhappy for a little bit. Okay. If any change in happiness or mood or attention, and that's a signal that they don't care about me. They have to be 100% devoted to me 24/7 in order for me to maintain a relationship with this person. That is toxic. Okay? The best relationship you can be in is a relationship where you're willing to give everything for this other person, and they're willing to give everything for you. When you have that, that's a perfect relationship, because neither one of you really needs to give up anything. Okay? Because the other person is willing to give up things for you, and you're willing to give up things for them. Ends up you don't have to give up anything at all. The problem is when you're with somebody that expects you to give up everything for them. That's not a good relationship, and you need to get away from that as fast as possible. So, number one, love is sacrifice, and that's two ways. That means you got to be willing to sacrifice for them as well. But if they're not willing to sacrifice for you, not going to last. Get the parents involved as soon as possible. Meet their family, have them meet your family, so you know if that's going to work out. If there's going to be problems in the family right away, then there's definitely going to be problems in a long-term relationship. All right? And, don't jump in bed with someone. Casual sex is, that's a lot of fun. Sex is enjoyable, of course, but you'll end up in a situation where you can't really trust each other. Okay? If both of you have been with any number of people, okay, how do you know that this other person isn't thinking of someone else from their past? Okay, that's always a thing. So you want to limit the number of partners that you have. What you want to seek out is a long-term relationship. And as soon as you feel that it's not going to be a long-term relationship, you need to end it. Okay? Don't be seeking out sexual gratification in a relationship. That's short-sighted and shallow. Okay? Get to know someone, and then when you feel like that you're ready for a long-term commitment, then proceed with the physical involvement. Okay? Don't be just jumping from bed to bed looking for the best sex, because that ends. Okay? That's not going to last. And the chances are, if that's what you're doing, you're not going to be satisfied, in a long-term relationship anyway. If all you're looking for is sexual gratification, that's a deal breaker, and you're going to end up never having a long-term relationship. And that's what's happening today in today's society. You got all these people that are just, hooking up, all this casual sex, just one after another. People that have, slept with hundreds of people, and wonder why they can't maintain a long-term relationship. It's not surprising. So, I'm not saying be completely chaste and a virgin until you meet the perfect person, but you really need to limit your involvement. Don't make a relationship about sexual gratification. All right? It's going to end up causing problems in a long-term relationship. So avoid it if you can. Well, and then, get advice from your family. I know in modern culture, that's not cool. You don't talk about your relationships with your parents. That's like somehow taboo now. A really bad idea, because they might tell you it's a bad relationship to get out of it. Well, that's the right thing. That's what you want. You want somebody who's going to be honest and give you their honest opinion about this relationship. Chances are they're right. They've been through relationships, and they know you better than any other person on the planet. So they'll know if you're going to be able to maintain a relationship with this person or not better than anybody else. So, do the right thing. Your parents, both of my girls, got into relationships early that ended up in disaster because they didn't listen to their dad. Plain and simple, didn't listen to their dad. And I ended up in a bad relationship because I didn't listen to my mom. So, don't push your parents away. They're not trying to hurt you. That's the thing, what people generally think. Oh, my parents are just trying to control me. So, no, they're not trying to control you. They're trying to prevent you from getting hurt. They're trying to prevent you from a lot of pain and suffering. If you just took the time to listen, you might find out that those parents can be very helpful. And I think that's why Chinese and other Asian cultures and Indian cultures have long-lasting marriages, is because they listen to their parents. So it's too late for my kids. They're all grown up. But you guys, listen to your parents. Try to make the best of your relationships. Remember, love is sacrifice. If they're not willing to sacrifice for you, then they're not worth your time. And it's going to be, you don't want a one-way relationship where you're sacrificing everything and the other person's just taking. Okay? You don't want that. And you do need to understand their families, get to know them, so that you're not surprised. And especially for the guys, know that girl is likely to suddenly change once you get married and have a whole new set of rules that you're going to have to follow now that you're married. Before it was okay to go out with your guy friends and go hunting or whatever, or go online and play video games till 2 o'clock in the morning. She didn't seem to mind. But now that they're married, all of a sudden it's like, you spend too much time with your friends. You don't spend enough time with me. You should be spending more time with me. You're married to me now. You should forget about those friends and focus all your time and energy on me. Okay? That happens a lot with women. A lot. So, kind of feel it out to see if that might the person you're interested in isn't one of these women, because it can be disastrous. All right. Well, I'm sure you really probably don't want to hear anything like this from Grandpa, but hopefully you'll listen, and hopefully you'll end up in a good relationship as a result. At least I'm praying you do.